Alright, we're asked to find the average rate of change of the function on the interval specified for a real number h. So we're given a of t equals 1 over t plus 3 on the interval of 7 to 7 plus h, where h is a real number. So we need to remember what does it mean to find an average rate of change. And I'm looking at f of b, if you remember, minus f of a over b minus a. Okay, so this is the average rate of change formula, which is very much like the slope formula. So we're going to take this formula and we're going to use it to find the average rate of change of this particular function. So, but instead of f of b, I'm going to use the notation used here. So I'm going to have a of t, and we'll say this is t sub 2 minus a of t sub 1, and that's going to be over t sub 2 minus t sub 1. So again, this is just notation. I'll make this t sub 1 and this t sub 2. And now we're going to plug these in. Well, here's my t sub 2 is 7 plus h, and t sub 1 is 7. So I'm plugging those in. 7 plus h. Now I need to find what is a of t sub 2 and what is a of t sub 1. So let's do t sub 1 first. That would be a of 7. And so I'm going to plug that into my function. 1 over 7 plus 3, which is 1/10. So that's what's going to go here, 1/10. And now I need to figure out what is a of t sub 2. And my t sub 2 is 7 plus h. So it's going to be a of 7 plus h. And I'm going to plug it into my function, which equals 1 over 7 plus h plus 3, which equals 1 over h plus 10. So that would be my a of 7 plus h would be 1 over h plus 10, which is going to go here. 1 over h plus 10. So again, this is our average rate of change we're trying to find. So we need to simplify here. So I can get a common denominator, which is h plus 10 times 10, because think of this as 1. So this one has h plus 10 but no 10. This one has a 10 but no h plus 10. So that makes a common denominator. Would be 10 times h plus 10 all over. And of course 7 minus 7 is left, is just h. So this is going to be my denominator. So this one, in order to get 10, h plus 10, I had to multiply this one by 10. So that would be 10 times 1. Minus, and this one had a 10 but didn't have an h plus 10. So I'm going to multiply it times h plus 10. And we can simplify this out. Move this up a little bit. 10 minus, let's distribute here first. So I have 10 minus h minus 10 over h, and this actually works out pretty nicely on the numerator. I'm sorry, this is 10h plus 10 over h. I almost forgot about my denominator there. So that goes here. This numerator works out pretty nicely. This becomes 10 minus 10, so it looks like I have a negative h here over 10h plus 10, and that's all divided by h. Now, how do I simplify this complex fraction? Well, remember, if you're dividing by a fraction, think of this as over 1, we actually multiply by the reciprocal. So this is going to equal negative h over 10h plus 10 times, well, h over 1, the reciprocal is 1 over h. So it looks like these h's cross out. Let me move this down a little more. I think we can get it finished here. So what am I left with? Well, this is going to be negative 1 over, looks like I have 10h plus 10.